Yeah, you can connect the two PCs switch and the switch to router. Okay. Add those two PCs to each VLAN, like each PC in each VLAN. So VLAN 10, use VLAN 10 and 20 for the switch side configuration. So you can create two VLANs and map those two interfaces to VLAN 20. Each of the VLANs. And you can also write down the VLAN numbers for the on the diagrammatic representation. So which PC belongs to which VLAN, and what are all the IP address given to PC, and what is the default gateway IP address. So by default, we will use in all the labs 192.168 1.4, and if you need a second subnet, you can use 192.168 2.0. Okay. Or else you can also use 10.10.10.1. So the one which are easy to understand.
Now I created a VLAN 10. Now in order to connect it to, I have to connect it to fast Ethernet, right?
You have to map it to fast Ethernet. Also create the other VLAN. You have created VLAN 10, create VLAN 20 also. After creation, you can verify if the VLANs are created as you created, and then you can map them to the interfaces.
So show VLAN.
You need to come out of the config mode.
Yeah, these two VLANs are created.
Okay, you can map them to the interfaces.
Okay. I think we should come into configuration mode, and now to map them into interface we can do.
You can use the PPTs. So put it to the drive.
So you said what? I can use the.
PPTs.
Okay.
I sent you the PPTs, right? Like how to create.
Yeah. I think like this. Interface fast Ethernet 0/1.
um,
Yeah, I was able to create a VLAN with this
mm,
interface.
you need to do the same for other VLAN.
Okay.
No, I think you are still in fast Ethernet 01 and you made it switchport access VLAN. So check the current VLAN configuration. Show VLAN brief. You are in config mode.
Okay.
See, initially you wanted the fast Ethernet 0/1 in VLAN 10. But since you mistakenly configured switchport access VLAN 20 on the same interface, it just switched from VLAN 10 to VLAN 20. So you have to be careful when you are doing this in production.
Okay.
You can change the configuration and add the VLAN to the right interface. Right? You added the VLAN, correct?
Yeah.
So you added, so you just switch the interfaces, right? Like second PC for VLAN 10, first PC for VLAN 20. So just make sure you add that notation on the packet tracer diagram. So earlier we planned FA01 to be on VLAN 10 and FA02 on VLAN 20. So just switch the position, just note down which PC belongs to which VLAN.
I think this one belongs to FA0/2 then, right?
This one belongs to FA0/1, but it belongs to VLAN 10, sorry, 20.
Okay.
As per your configuration, it is VLAN 20. No, use that pad. Yeah. VLAN 20. And give the IP address also. No, just write down the IP address of the PC also. So that.
Okay. Do you have to configure here or no?
No. Like you are using pad, right? First you complete the diagrammatic representation, what IP goes to what PC.
Okay. So 0.0 in this one?
No, no, no. One dot. Just give 1.1/24 slash 24. Okay. Same thing for other PC. 2.1 for 2.1/24. Okay. In this case, there will be two default gateways. Okay, one for this 192.168 1.0 network, and the second gateway is for 2.0 network. So we can configure two IP addresses as a default gateway, 1.100, 2.100, just below the router. Yeah. 192.168 1.100/24. If you do not understand, just stop there and clarify the road and then proceed.
I mean, this is the address the PCs will use to communicate with outside the network, right?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So we can configure that. We can go to the router and give this specific one, right?
Correct. Correct.
So giving one is
There will
enough.
be a default gateway for each subnet.
Yeah.
You configure the 2.100, right? Default gateway 2.100.
Okay. Just one is enough, right?
How will 192.168.1 will reach internet? So you have two PCs, correct? Each are in different subnet. So 1.1 can reach internet through 1.100, but how 2.1 will reach internet?
Okay. It cannot take the same one.
How it can? It belongs to different network, right?
Okay.
So you need to send it to a default gateway in its own network. You can't ask 2.1 to go to 2.1.100. There is no way it can perform a routing, right? If you want to go from one network to another network, you need a router, correct?
Yeah.
But you have only a switch. So to send a traffic to the router, you need to send it to the default gateway. You can still ping another network's IP using a router, but you need to have a default gateway in that router in your same network. Correct.
Okay.
So you have two PCs, each are in different subnet, and in case, so you cannot have the default gateway in the different network. If you want to reach another network, you need to have a default gateway in your own network in case you want to reach another networks. Because default gateway lets you into the router, and when you into the router, you can do a route lookup to reach another network. But to allow you into the router, you need to have a default gateway in your own network.
Yes.
Right? If you have wrongly configured default gateway in the PC, in the router or anywhere in the production, you need to be very clear that each subnet should have its own default gateway in the router. Doesn't matter how many subnets you have. It is a basic mandatory that you have default gateway for a network in case you want to allow routing. Without a default gateway, you cannot do routing. Okay. So now you go to the router, unshut this interface gig 00. Unshut the port. Go to the CLI.
Okay.
It is still booting up.
So it's asking enter host name router.
Yeah, you can configure the host name. Once again, why it is asking for the password? What did you do? Okay. Cancel this. Control C. You should have said no to that. Enter. Enable. So if you say yes, right, then it means you want to first set up your router. Like what should be the password and what should be the name, all these things. The initial setup, right? So for a lab, we don't need it, but when you are bringing in a new production router, then you may need to set up the basic authentication, basic security, and basic connectivity, all these things to be done before you actually configure your production network details. Okay. So now you can give a host name. Go to config mode and give a host name. Host name and what should be the name. Okay. Now you can go to the interface gig 00 and shut that interface. First, you check what all the interfaces available.
Okay. Can we connect? Can we share your Zoom link? It's running out of time.
Okay. Once again, is it going to? I'll share it now. Send you the password.
Okay. Yeah. Hello? Hello? Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, come out of the config mode and give show interfaces brief. Sorry, show IP interfaces. Show IP interfaces brief. Without space, show IP interfaces. Show IP space interface brief. Okay, you can use 000, which is connected to the switch. You can go to the interface and check that interface. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to that interface and unshut the interface. No shutdown.
No shutdown. So this is to enable the interface or
Correct.
basically we are telling no power off means power on.
It's not about power on. Bring up the interface.
Okay. Now it is changed to up.
Correct. So you brought up the interface, so you can see the connectivity between router and switch in the Cisco packet tracing. You see it is changing to green from red.
Yeah, I can see it is green, showing green now.
Okay. So now what you have to do here is just go to the stay on the interface and type interface gigabit Ethernet 00. Interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0 dot 10. Gigabit Ethernet. No, if you give a tab, right, you just type only half of the word and then press the tab button that will complete the. No, come out. If it's not giving you a prompt, then it means the syntax is wrong. Come out of it. Just type exit. You are in. Yeah. Now you type interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0 dot 10. 0/0 dot 10. Right. So it means you are creating a logical interface, right? So if you see the list of interface in this command show IP interface brief, there is no interface called 0/0 dot 10, correct?
There is
Hello.
no interface called 0/0.
0/0 dot 10,
Okay.
right? You have only 0/0 and 0/1. There is nothing called 0/0 dot 10, correct?
Okay.
So now the command interface gigabit 0/0/. 0/0.10 has created a logical interface. You see, right? It says the change state to down and then change the state up. Line protocol.
Yes.
Right? So it has now created a logical interface. There is no such interface as 0.10 in physical, but you have a logical interface. Okay. So now you can go and give an IP address. First you type enter, press enter. Now you type encapsulation.1q, encapsulation. See if it completes that command. Encapsulation. Okay. Dot DOT. Dot, not dot, DOT. Dot 1q. Without space. No. 1q. Just the letter Q. Space 10. Enter. There is a syntax there. Dot 1q without space. No. Without space. Dot 1q, all one word. So you have created one interface 0/0.10 virtual interface inside the main interface 0/0/0. Okay. And then you told this 0/0.10 interface to allow VLAN 10 traffic. Okay. That is what encapsulation.1q means. Then give the default gateway IP address. IP address space and whatever the IP address you created for VLAN 10. Default gateway. What is the default gateway IP address for the network? Belongs to VLAN 10.
.2.100.
Correct. IP address 192.168.2.100 255.255.258.0.
So what we should do now?
Configure the IP address. So you are still in interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0.10. So now you have to give an IP address to that logical interface. IP address, IP space address. No. Why you came out of it? Go back into that interface. No. Interface. Give the IP address to this interface. IP space, address space, put the default gateway IP address. .100, not 200. Space 255.255.258.0. That indicates you are using /24. Enter. Now come out of all the modes. You don't have to shut down. It is a logical interface. You don't have to give no shutdown. No shutdown is required only for the physical interfaces. Come out again and give show IP interface brief. Okay, so do you see one new interface got created compared to the previous output?
This one, right?
Correct. So you have created a new logical interface of the main subinterface, right? 0.0 is a main physical interface, correct? That existed when the device came. So now during your configuration, you created logical interface following the physical interface and you gave an IP address. Okay. So similarly, you need to do the same for VLAN 20 on the same physical interface. do the same configuration for VLAN 20 and give the appropriate IP address.
So just like how we set up a virtual interface for this one for VLAN 10, we have to do the same for VLAN 20 as well, right?
Correct, correct. Just the IP address and the VLAN number changes, rest everything same. All the commands, syntax, everything is same as you did for VLAN 10. Okay, that created a logical interface of 00 that could allow VLAN 20 traffic. You didn't give the IP address?
Now we have to give the IP address, right? So this time we'll use 1.100, right?
Correct. You gave 2.100 for VLAN 10, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now you verify the interfaces.
Yeah, I think both are up.
Okay, you have. Okay. Now you can try to ping the PCs back to back
I can
and
try.
see if you're able to ping the PC in one network to a PC in another network, or PC in one VLAN to PC in another VLAN.
So how do I check that? How to do that?
Go to the PC, desktop, command prompt. Yeah. Ping the other PC's IP address. No, the IP address is wrong.
Okay.
Why you are pinging with the subnet?
So we
Also, you're in PC 0, right?
I think we did not configure IP address here.
Click on first Ethernet 0.
We can give this IP address to this one, right? 192.168.2.1.
You are on PC 1, right? Yeah. Need to configure the subnet mask.
Okay.
Have you configured the same on all the PCs, the IP address? Have you completed PC 0 configuration?
Oh, that is pending.
Where is the subnet mask?
Yeah.
You don't have to use that subnet mask when you're pinging. Try one more time. Okay. First, you try if you're able to ping your own default gateway. Cancel this. Okay. So, do you remember the trunk configuration?
Trunk configuration of which one? The router?
Switch side.
Switch
There is
side.
no trunk config on router. On the
Okay.
switch side, to allow multiple VLANs.
Yes. Access trunk, port trunk.
Yeah, so we have completed configuration of access port. But did we do a trunk port configuration that allows multiple VLAN towards router?
I think we said we we didn't do that actually. I think.
Okay, yeah, go to the router and configure FA0/3 as a trunk port.
You mean the switch?
So FA0, yeah, in the switch, FA0/3 is taking you to the router, right? Or FA0/3 will take you to the router. That will take all the VLAN traffic towards the router. Yeah, configure. Need to go to enable mode.
Yeah. Now we need to create a new VLAN.
No. For trunk port, you don't have to create new VLAN. Trunk port is used to allow the existing VLANs to flow through.
Yes.
Switch port mode trunk. Switch port mode trunk. Okay, enter. Now you try to ping the default gateway. Okay, now try to ping the other IP.
Okay. 192.168.2.1. This is not required.
Why you are using subnet mask? Try again. Can you go to the switch and say switch port trunk? Yeah, switch port trunk. Switch port trunk. No, don't enter the comment. Switch port trunk. Switch port trunk. Allowed. No, spell.
Sorry.
No, wait. Why are you? Wait, don't press enter. Space. Tab button. Space tab button. Question mark. Allowed. Type allowed. Space again question mark. VLAN. Space question mark. All. Type all. Okay. Now you try ping again.
It's not happening. Can we continue the class tomorrow? Just got a call to attend now in 15 minutes.
Yes. We can continue. I think we are done with the session. That's what, like, this interVLAN routing on the same interface hasn't worked before. So we tried all options.
So basically, we were trying to demonstrate this kind of
Router on a stick. Router on a stick.
Okay. So
InterVLAN communication on a router on a stick setup.
this is like a very common setup, right? Which is used.
Yeah, very common only. If you have hardware devices, right, that will work. Whatever the configuration we have completed, so communication would have enabled by now. But in the Cisco packet tracer, this hasn't worked ever. I have taught like many students. At any updated version of Cisco packet tracer, it hasn't worked so far.
Okay, but in real life, that's not a problem.
In real life, the same configs works with the hardware.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow in the session, and there is one more setup pending for interVLAN. So if you want, we can cover this with the L3 switch. And then move to the other topics.
Okay, we'll continue tomorrow.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.